Welcome to the next part of our journey in exploring the Home tab. Okay, we are by the paragraph group. First command you see is bullets. Okay, so what bullets is that there are three ways in um, formatting a list. Okay, or in creating a list, you can use bullets. Let me demonstrate. Select a good story, and I click bullets, and what you see is it's an ordinary, boring old textbook bullet. Then you have the next option, the numbering option. Okay, so I can create a numbered list or an ordered list. Then you have a multi-level list, or let me just undo that first. And before we move on to the multi-level list, is let me just explain the two types of. Okay, the bullet is an unordered list. Okay, so let's show you again. All right, this is an unordered list. Okay, you don't really see an kind of a type of an order. All right, so if I click enter, for every enter I click, for every line I go to, there's a new bullet. All right, basically what you're doing is you're creating a list. So line 2, line 3, and etc. Now we erase, and um that's the first command. Now I can make it an ordered list by clicking the numbering in command, and you can see instead of putting bullets it has put 1 2 3. Then the third one, what that does is that creates a multi-level list. And what okay, it's a bit of a complicated list for a newbie to understand, but I'll simplify it for you guys, for my viewers. So before we go to multi-level list, let's explore bullets a bit further, and then you can put what you can see is you can put a bit of icons, you can put a tick, you can put an arrow, you can put this type of art. All right, you can basically you can change your bullet. Okay, it doesn't have to be the boring old textbook round circle disc type of bullet. Okay, now if you go down, we can see this is actually a hand. Okay, a picture of a hand, right, pointing to the lines or the sentences. Okay, that is also uh, that's something you can be creative with these bullets. So now this is how you do it. Okay, you can have more symbols. Okay, so if I click on symbol now, after clicking on define new bullet, okay, then you can choose any of these symbols. You have a whole lot of symbols. You have Vladimir script, wide Latin, and a whole array of symbols. Okay, you can make any symbol your bullet. Okay, that's good. Then you have Arabic, then you have failed attempt. Okay, then you have roboto th, and then we usually use wingdings. Okay, or webdings. Now webdings or wingdings are basically the um, cartoon type, okay, picture types of symbols. Okay, so you have quite a variety of options to go to creative video bullets, but don't over create go the we gonna just go with the smiley face. So instead of having an icon or a symbol, all right, as a bullet, you can first define bullet new bullet. You can also have a picture. Okay, and these are online pictures. You can also work offline, but for the purpose of this video not being too long, you can explore that. And you can change the alignment to be left, centered, right, okay, according to your needs. Then you can also have font as a bullet. Okay, you can change the font, and if it shows you that, then it means that the font, all right, there's a bit of a problem with the font. Okay, so you can do that. You can change the font size. Okay, 72. Let's see how that looks. Really big bullet, doesn't look like a bullet anymore. Okay, we can change this into a numbered list. All right, Before you forward the hoax email, evaluate it according to the following guidelines. Is it worth reading and relevant to us? Is it very large and will it take a lot of time to download? The thing is that let's just select. Okay. um, okay, so the thing is that it is a numbered list, and um, what you can do is you can have questions and then sub questions within those questions. But before that, let's just explore the numbered list a bit further. So we have Roman numerals and capital ABC. uh, you can have all these different types of numbered lists types. You can even define a new numbering format. Okay, so in you can choose a different style if you want. Okay, instead of 1 2 3 you can go ABC. Okay, but then number format, let's explore that. It might confuse you. You see the grayed out, the gray, that is a field, meaning that that updates automatically, and then the dot after it is, I can change that. Okay, so I can change it into a bracket, and as you can see in the preview, okay, we don't have the dot anymore there. I can have an eclipse, an ellipse, sorry. Okay, and then I can have it underline. Okay, basically what's happening is that I'm changing the format. Okay, you can have a dot, you can have a bracket, you can have a dash, you can have any format. Basically the only thing that's going to change is the grayed out number. Okay, just practice it, you'll get good at it. Okay, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, so that's number format. Then we have alignment. Okay, which we explored with the other um the bulleted list. Okay, so um look at the preview. um I'm just worried you might not understand or see what the number format is. So look at the preview and you can see that there's no dot or no period, or so it's not one dot and then two dot, three dot, like it is in the document itself. Okay, look at the preview and look at the document where it says is it worth reading and relevant to us, and you'll see the difference. Okay, the significant difference between the two. All right. Okay, so that is pretty much the numbering list and numbering. Okay, numbered list. Now the question arises, if you read down here at the bottom, is it worth reading and relevant to us? Okay, I want to draw your attention to something. This is a question, so evaluate it according to the following guidelines. Okay, before you forward the hoax email, is it worth reading and relevant to us? Okay, is it very large and will it take a lot of time to download and all that? So assume, if you want to put under the each of these three questions another set of questions, meaning have a next category. For example, I press enter and I say, is it worth reading and relevant to us? And I say yes, it is worth reading, it's worth reading and relevant to us. Or okay, let's just actually just keep it short. Okay, yes. Okay, and we keep that as a question, so you have to give a reason for your answer, or no and give a reason for your answer. Okay, so the thing is that this yes no is part of the first item in the list. It's part of the question, but you can, so that's why you cannot give it as you cannot give it a new number like number 2, number 3, or question 1 2 3. You can rather do this. You can say question 1 and then yes would be 1.1 and then no would be 1.2. That's a better approach. So if you look at the numbering, we see that there's no option here that gives us or allows us to have 1.1, 1.2. All right, like that, and then the others would be number 2 and question number 3. All right, there's no option. So that is where multi-level lists come in. If you look here, okay, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, so we select that, and Let's just select everything, the entire thing, and make it a multi-level list. Okay, and there we are. Okay, but okay, so then you press tab, then you see 1.1 and 1.2. All right, problem solved. Okay, is it worth reading? And relevant to us, 1.1 is yes, 1.2 is no. Now this is what a multi-level list essentially is, and you can, and by the way, these two are just different. They actually should be 2 and 3. Actually, we didn't select it properly, so that's the reason. Let's just select it properly again. Something is wrong. Let's just so select. Let's just remove it entirely. All right, now let's select it. Hopefully it works. Perfect, it works. Now, what would happen? Okay, so if there are no subcategories, then, or basically what happens is that if you select a multi-level list, it selected as a numbering list. Okay, but that's fine. All right, so let's add subcategories. Okay, so let me show you where a multi-level list, a better example of a multi-level list, where that will be used. So let's paste this text or this information. Okay, protein, amino acids, and carbon. Okay, we're not teaching biology or chemistry, but we're just exploring multi-level lists. If you know that a bit of biology, amino acids are made of, or protein on the other hand. By the way, let's just convert it into a multi-level list before we explain. Okay, so we have a certain text. Now, protein, okay, amino acids are building blocks for protein. Okay, they are subcategories of protein. They are smaller than protein. Every protein is made up of a set of amino acids. Then, every amino acid is made up of a set of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Okay, so basically a subcategory of amino acid would be carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. All right. So then we have carbohydrates. Okay, sugar. Sugars make carbohydrates, and then carbon, hydrogen, oxygen make sugar. So they are each subcategories of the other. Okay, this is a very good example of using a multi-level list. Okay, so we have one which is protein, and then that splits up into 1.1 number of amino acids, and that each amino acid splits up into a number of elements, okay, which is 1.1.1, 1.2, 1.2, and by carbohydrate 2.1.2, all right, etc. So okay, that was a mistake. Then sugar contains hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. All right, then this is a good example of a multi-level list. Okay, I can't really think of another one, so I use this example. It's not that I'm teaching biology or anything, but yeah, so you can go up even further and make even a further um, things, further division, like each carbon atom is made up of 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons also. But all right, we're not going to go to the isotopes and that. So nevertheless, point is that this is a multi-level list and a good application of a multi-level list. So now, by the way we indented, all right, we can have different variety of multi-level lists. We can change the list level. Okay, meaning a protein is level 1, 1.1 is level 2. Okay, so, oh, by the way, the way you change the levels, okay, the way you go from 1 to 3 to 1.1, 1.2, and 1.1.1, etc., the way you increase the indentation or you go to the next level is by pressing tab. Okay, I didn't mention that. You press tab, and if you want to go one level back, then you press shift tab. Okay, then you go here and you can change the list level. That's another way, alternative to selecting tab. Okay, the long way shortcut is using pressing tab. Okay, now I can also define a new multi-level list. Okay, so you don't want to use 1.1 dot 1 dot 1 dot 1 dot. You don't want to put a dot at the end. You can change that. You can replace that dot with a bracket, or you, okay, let's do it by define new multi-level list, I think, or it's define new list style. Okay, it's not this, it isn't this is something else. Okay, let's anyway explore this, or rather no. Okay, define new multi-level list. So what happens here is that it's asks you click level to modify. So one would be where protein is right now. All right, two, yeah, so where protein is right now, that is one, and carbohydrate. Level two would be where amino acids are and sugar is. Okay, then level three would be where the elements are, like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay, and this multi-level list goes up to 9 levels. So let's change the second level. Okay, you can see here the right 1.1, and we erase the dot at the end. Okay, we remove the dot. Remember, there was a dot at the end. So let's just zoom in to us to demonstrate a bit better. So you see that dot there, we're gonna remove that and maybe replace it with a bracket. So the second level where amino acid is, okay, we're gonna replace that with a bracket, or not a bracket, we're gonna remove the dot from the second level, and by the carbon we're gonna replace that with the bracket. Define new multi-level list. So go to the second level, we remove the dot. Okay, it will have no dot. Then the third level will remove the period and we'll replace it with a bracket, and we click OK and check the difference, and there you have the difference. Mission completed. Now let's just see a bit more features about that. Okay, some other cool stuff. You can change the font if you want. You can change the 1.1 the font of the bullets, or the list. So let's change the font to Arial. Okay, so it's just one. Okay, so the first level is Arial, the second level's Arial is, I mean, the second level's font would be Times New Roman. Then, okay, I think it is already Times New Roman, but anyway, the third level would be, I think, let's just look at random, good looking font, prominent, difference, distinguished. Let's just try Impact. Impact is very thick. It's too bold though. Let's Castellar. Okay, that's not really. Nevertheless, okay, let's just keep it. Let's do Calibri instead. All right, the standard, and we can also change the font color, or no. Let's just change the font style to italic, and change the size to 8. Okay, and this, by the way, is the third level. Okay, we're modifying the third level. You can look at the preview, and then we can also underline or font color. You can change the font color to orange. All right, let's make this like a good looking uh, book. All right, doesn't that look pretty? We can make it a bit more colorful. Let's just go back, define new multi-level list. Okay, we change the font of the first level to blue, and then we're gonna make the font bigger. Okay, bigger relatively, make it size 12. Change the second one to let's check what we can do. Yeah, size may make it a bit smaller than the first level. The color, we're gonna make it a bit green, and there we have it. And doesn't that look pretty? Tell me in the comments. All right, then we can change the multi-level list. Okay, you can see there's a new multi-level list we created. All right, we let's check if we can change some other things. So number style for this level, so meaning let's just look at level number 1. We can change it, instead of 1 2 3 we can make it Roman numerals as well. All right, we can make it capital ABC. Okay, so it would go like this: A protein, B carbohydrate, and then 1.1 amino acid, the usual. The rest wouldn't change. Actually, let's make number 3 ABC. Let's make number 3 ABC, small caps ABC. And number 2, or level 2, we make Roman numerals. Alright, or actually doesn't look very good, it looks very weird in the preview, to be very frank. Then click to modify level 1. Okay, rather let's change the narrative, let's just do everything. Let's make the first one capital. Okay, make the second one not the Roman numerals, let's make it small caps. Okay, I suppose that's looking better. Then the third one we make numbers. Okay, that's perfect, that looks nice. Then okay, include level number from, so you can include the, okay, so you can play with the other features. Okay, there's some technical stuff here like number alignment. Okay, left where you want to align it. If it bothers you, you can change it. Text indent, meaning how much the indent means how much the space is bit from the margin. There's the margin. Okay, from the margin to the bullet or the number itself, that is the indent. Okay, refers to that space between the margin and the text. Okay, so the distance at the moment is 2.16 centimeters for level 1. Second level, it's 1.4 centimeters. Okay, a a point a point a.1 doesn't look very like how I wanted it to look. It doesn't look so simple, so you can change that. We're gonna make it a, and then not a point a, we can just say caps A and then protein, then small a, then amino acids, then number 1 carbon, number 2 hydrogen, number 3 oxygen, etc. Instead of a.1, let's just do a1 instead. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Here we go to number 2. Include level number from level 1. Okay, that is by default it does that, I think. That's why it's including the caps A from the protein and the carbohydrate level from level 1. So okay, you can actually change it. So if I do level 2, it's not going to display the level from level 1, or actually it is in the preview, or it actually is. This is we have to, you need a different approach, which I know, like we did in the normal numbering. So let's do that. Define new multi-level list and go to the second level, modify the second level, and you can see this capital A. Okay, this capital A, what you want to do is remove that capital A and the period. Okay, so you left with the small a. Okay, then we're gonna do the same with level 3. We're gonna modify the same way. We're gonna remove the capital A and we're gonna remove the small a and the periods after each. Okay, we're gonna remove the a dot and we're gonna leave the one bracket there. Okay, so let's do it. And there we go. Now let's select it and check how it looks. There we go. That is what we wanted. So this is how you can adjust a multi-level list, and you can enjoy multi-level lists to the max. Then these are different pre-made or ready multi-level lists you can use. Okay, just use them or create them, create new one if you need to. Okay, then define new list style. You can change the style, like starting at 1. Okay, apply formatting to first level. Then you have symbols. Okay, you can add a symbol instead of ABC, you can have symbol. Okay, so we have a bullet as the first level. We want to apply this, change the second level. Which symbol will we use for the second level? Perhaps this one with the neutral face. Then the third level would be the sad, unhappy um, face. Yeah. So then this is italicized. You can unitalicize it. You can change the indentation, and you can choose if you want to do it, keep this multi-level list in only in this document or new documents based on this template. Then you have format. Okay, you can change the numbering. What else can we do? Click OK. So we made a new list, new multi-level list, and there is the other list. Okay, that doesn't really look how we want it to, and it's not selecting. I don't know why. If you know, let me know down in the comments. But for now, enough with the multi-level lists. Alright, now we move on to indentation. And you know now what an indentation is. Let's just look at the multi-level list. Actually, rather leave that. So let's look at this paragraph right here. We have it. Okay, so it starts here by the margin. And if we increase the indent, what it happens is that the space between the margin, okay, and increases. Basically, it's moving away from the margin. So if you want to indent the text a bit more accurately, all right, or and you want some other options, technical options, then what you can do is that you must open the dialog box, the paragraph dialog box, and you have the indentation category. All right, you can see left. Okay, you can specify in centimeters how much you want your left indentation to be and your right indentation. The left indentation is the indentation from the left margin. Okay, and you can look at the preview. Okay, as to what is happening when we increase the left indent. Okay, it's indenting. Then we go back to 0, which is the default, and I accidentally close the tab, I mean the box, dialog box. Then you can also increase indent it from the right. Okay, that is the right margin, by the way, that one right there. So basically it's the ending of the paragraph and the beginning of the paragraph. So if we just open it up again, so there's two types of indentations. There's first line indentation and hanging indents. So first line indent by its very name is just the indent of the first line, so it just indents the first line, that's it. So This is how it looks. You just indented the first line. Sometimes a funny story can brighten up someone's day and a good sense, and then we can have a picture behind the first line where there is space, okay, where it was indented, okay, like just give me a moment. Let me just change the text a bit so that it's not the boring old black. And this is British spelling. Let me just change that to American spelling. Now, okay, so remember that this is the first line indent, and sometimes you see in magazines is that there's a first line indent, okay, and there's a picture behind it, okay, and the text flows around the picture. Okay, so let me show you that by inserting a shape, okay, a shape like a rectangle, okay, then like that. So you'll have your picture like that and the text flowing around, okay. Basically the first line is indented. Okay, let me just change the let me add an arrow instead. Oh, yeah, then you have this indent that's flowing around your picture, okay. I will just take the arrow out. Square or the rectangle um, explains it perfectly, okay, it fits what we're doing. Okay, then also you have a hanging indent. Let's just decrease the indent here and let's just change it to a hanging indent rather. Okay, so then the text hangs, okay, and now the square perfectly fits under. And let's just change the square rectangle a bit more so that it looks a bit nice and not dull and mundane, looks a bit active and brings a smile to my viewers, I hope. Then yeah, so the text flows around the rectangle, okay, and you can see if I move the square around, it didn't automatically flow around, it's actually is indented, okay, it's a hanging indent, okay, indented by 3 centimeters from the margin. Okay, so the first line isn't indented and the rest of the paragraph is indented in the hanging indent, and in the first line indent the first line only indents and the rest of the text doesn't indent, or the rest of the paragraph doesn't indent. Okay, now let me just set it back to how it was, none. Okay, perfect. Now let me show you a quick method to indenting. Okay, you see this thing, this what that is, okay, I forgot what it is called. Okay, so if you move it, okay, you move the top half, that is the first line indent. If you however move the last two or the bottom, that is the hanging indent. Okay, that adjusts the hanging indent, it indicates the hanging indent. If you move both of them, okay, if you move both of them, then it's it indicates both hanging and the first line indent, and that's something very good you need to know, so that because it saves you a lot of time and you don't need to open the dialog box all the time, okay. And then you have this one at the this right indent here. You can also indent text like that from the right, okay, you can use that, and look how beautiful it looks if it's just in the center, right, this text. Okay, 3 centimeters from the beginning, and all right, it's a bit 4 5 centimeters. Okay, 3 cent. Okay, it's 4 centimeters actually. Okay, 3 centimeters from the ending. Okay, so it's 3 centimeters away from either side, indented. Okay, so we have this square. All right, we just make it a bit bigger, and we can paste one square on the right, and we're gonna copy paste it to the other side. Okay, so that it looks like the text is between the two squares, just because we indented the text. And that's all about indentation. Before we go to sorting, let's just go to this alignment. All right, these lines, you see that these are called alignment. Okay, this is for aligning the text. So if I justify, actually not that center, so let me just take these two squares out after grouping them. By the way, you don't need to know what I'm doing right now, we'll come to that soon. So let's just take this out. Okay, now, okay, so this is what you need to know. Okay, so you can see these are in the middle of the page, okay, horizontally. Now what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be aligning these. Okay, so it's by default left aligned, it's aligned to the left. We can center align. Okay, so the text looks like that, or the paragraph we can right align it, so it's like, it looks like it started from the right margin and it's moving to the left margin, like in Arabic is written from right to left. Okay, and then we can also justify it. Okay, so justify, what it does is that it extra spaces, okay, character spacing between each word, so that it looks like a brick of text, or it just looks good. Okay, like you would use this type of alignment in newspapers. Okay, you have this perfect blocks shape right now if we remove that last word, but if we left align it, then it looks like a bit of a puzzle piece, a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, and this looks like other puzzle pieces, but this looks like a perfect block. Okay, if you want to make our test look neat and tidy, what we do is you use justify. Sensitive information, let's just put it back to how it was, and put the rectangles back, and it looks perfectly flowing between the two rectangles. How does that look like? Tell me in the comments, guys. Looks very pleasing, don't you think? Nevertheless, let's move on to the next few commands. Something important, by the way, I want to tell you is the show and hide. Okay, so if you switch on show and hide, what it does is that it shows you these extra characters that appear. Okay, it helps you, by the way, to neaten your text. Okay, it shows you these space. Okay, that dot suspended in midline is actually representing a space. So I added these spaces between these texts, and you get these dots that appear. These actually represent the space. By the way, these don't get printed, they're just to help you to see and to neaten up your text, so that you don't put a double space somewhere, or a space and then a full stop, like that. So show and hide shows you some characters, right? So this inverse p at the end here. All right, what that is a paragraph mark that indicates where the paragraph ends. Okay, so here I just added another space. Okay, two space, and then you can see that there's an error or a recommendation from Microsoft Word. Okay, so like if you print this document, then you'll notice that there's an extra space, and that can be a bit unprofessional sometimes. So you will need show and hide. Okay, it's good practice to use show and hide. And these are not actually all the characters show and hide uses, shows, sorry. Okay, there's other characters also. Okay, but we'll come to them in a moment. So by the way, the convention of writing is, when you start a new sentence in Word, after a full stop you first put a space, and then you write the word, like I write subscribe. By the way, subscribe. Did you subscribe, or are you already subscribed? Let me know down in the comments. um, okay, so tab is another character that show and hide shows. So you see these arrows, these are the tabs. How many times I pressed tab? Okay, that shows. So now we can understand that there's a tab I inserted somewhere, and these are paragraph marks. Okay, and whenever I click enter, there's a new paragraph mark that appears. Okay, so that is just something. By the way, if you open a new page, all right, the correct way of doing it is clicking this blank page, and what happens is that you can see a page break, okay, that is inserted, and you will only be shown that if you um switch on show and hide. If you switch it off, you won't see it. So by the way, if you have experience as a newbie, I mean, if you click your cursor there at the bottom, it's not coming at the bottom where my cursor is. So why doesn't this cursor which is flickering come down to the arrow? Why? Because it's a page break. Okay, whatever text is after the page break, you can't put any text. Whatever text is after the page break goes on to the new page. So like this A, I write it after the page break, it goes on to the new page. That's why your cursor will never ever move down after the page break. There's a page break there that is blocking your cursor to move. Okay, so that's the thing. If you had a hassle sometime in your life like me with Microsoft Word, which made me hate it because I didn't really have education at that time. I wasn't educated on this application back in the day. So by the way, if you see, you can see the page break is gone, so you can move your cursor freely. All right, so if I write hello at the bottom and then I write please at the top, so please subscribe, and now I'm gonna press enter. Notice what happened to the hello. It moved down. Text is moving. As a newbie, you will, that's also annoying. You will ask why. There's no space between the please subscribe and hello. Why is it moving? Why? It's a conundrum, it's a hassle. You want to pull your hair out. Alright. The reason is that there is switch on show and hide, then we talk. Whenever you click enter, you are putting paragraph, you are creating paragraphs under that. Empty paragraphs. Okay, so you can see the number of paragraph marks you added there. So whenever you click enter, all right, so of course, I mean, it's gonna go down, hello is gonna go down. So that's what show and hide is, very useful. So please subscribe if you get value from this, please share if you get value from this, and don't go away because the video hasn't ended yet. So line spacing is the next command. So what line spacing is basically, let's just get the rectangles out of the way. Now line spacing is, you have this paragraph, so you can see between each line there is a white space. Okay, so this is the line spacing. Okay, the more you increase it, the more the spacing between each line increases. Okay, that is what line spacing is all about. And if I were to, just let me find something, if I were to copy this text and I paste it after that text, and by the way I must actually indent it appropriately as well. Hanging indent, first line indent, give me a moment. This is the right indent. So here we are. Now we're just going to change the color of this. Okay, we're going to change the font color to green so that you can know it is a different paragraph. Okay, now we're going to look at spacing. Okay, we looked at line spacing. Now there is something other kind of, there's another kind of spacing called paragraph spacing. Okay, now the white space between the P and the I is the line spacing, and we can of course increase that as we did before, like this, and we increasing the line spacing. However, okay, wait, just before, you can see the difference between the two. Okay, the line spacing between the two is different. Okay, so if we make um in the dialog box, you can see line spacing is multiple at 1.2. Now you can see what is this before and after about. So we'll come to that later. So let's just go about to putting it how it was, the default. Okay, I forgot actually what the default is. Let's just go check it out. 30 1.2 is the default. Actually, there's other ways of checking the default as well, but never mind. That those are just a bit long, I suppose. So we'll just make it 1.1.5. Okay. So now you can change the line spacing. So paragraph spacing, however, is the space between the I and the P. All right, between the it and the petition. Okay, you can see the difference or the distance between the blue text and the green text. You can see the spacing between them is a bit bigger than the spacing between the lines in each paragraph. Okay, so we have two concepts called paragraph spacing and line spacing. So the spacing group in the paragraph dialog box, what that does is, okay, the before, okay, by the way, just finish line spacing, what that does is it's separate. Okay, the before and after actually refers to the paragraph spacing, the line, not the line spacing. So if I adjust the paragraph spacing, the after portion of it, of this paragraph, then by the way you can see this gray area, all right, under this it. Okay, there's some gray area. So that gray area, what that is that it's the after paragraph spacing. There's no gray area before the sometimes a funny story can brighten up before the paragraph. It's not, there's no gray spacing, so that means there's no paragraph spacing before. Paragraph spacing before is 0, paragraph spacing after is not 0. So let's open the dialog box and we make the after 0, and now you see what happens is that the gray um extra gray area just got removed or decreased in size. So if I were to change this, the next paragraph, the first line of the next paragraph, to the same font as before, and delete the and put it in the same line as the, or actually not put in the same line, otherwise it would be the same paragraph. So enter extra text, it'll look that it's the same paragraph. Why? Because there's the same amount of back and front spacing. That's why it looks like the same paragraph. So that's paragraph spacing before and after. Let's just open the dialog box and change it back to 10, and there we go. So let's make another paragraph. Right, so here So you have the second paragraph with spacing before it and after it, but here's the trick. This is the trick. If you're smart enough to spot it, then what you'll understand, or if you're smart enough to spot it, then I congratulate you, because there's no before spacing in the second paragraph. So the spacing after the first paragraph and the spacing before, and the after spacing of the second paragraph makes it seem altogether essentially that there is a space between the two. Not between the two, sorry, between before and after the second paragraph. Okay,